All right. Hello, hello, hello. Are we live? I think we're live. What is up, guys? Andrew here, and welcome to Comicbooker. All things comics from a creator. So welcome. I haven't live streamed in a while, but this is Draw with Me, and it's a regular live stream feature on the channel that I'm trying out. And the intent is basically, I'm gonna do a little drawing for about an hour or so, and hopefully, you guys are out there hanging out with me and drawing too. So if you're there, if you're chilling out tonight, grab your sketchbook and let's get to it. Let's draw. Um, okay. Hello, little whiskers. What's up, epic fail gamer? No way to fail, like epically, right? So okay, what are we doing tonight? So tomorrow is uh, tomorrow I'm gonna be watching Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and I'm also really proud of myself because I've managed to avoid spoilers on the internet so far. So I feel like I'm gonna go into it with like a really good mindset. So I'm really excited. But I figured, the theme for tonight's live stream could be Spider-Man. So tonight I'm gonna draw a Spider-Man thing. So let's get started on that. And if you guys are like drawing along, hopefully you guys can draw Spider-Man stuff too, because Spider-Man's dope. I'm gonna start off with a horizontal canvas, and these are my recent brushes. Check them out. Um, these are currently my trustiest brushes, the ones I use the most. Um, Oh my god, I hope it goes well watching the movie. Oh my god, I hope it goes well too. I'm a little bit I mean, to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous with all this Omicron stuff, but we're going to a good theater with like seats that are far apart, and I'm gonna be masked and everything. So fingers crossed it goes well. I just think, you know, I can't miss this. I just can't miss this. I've been following this whole um, trilogy for like, you know, since it came out. I've actually watched all the Spider-Man movies, and I'm a pretty big Spider-Man fan. I'd like to think. Um, my entry point was sometime in the 90s, like the Clone Saga, Mark Bagley era of Spider-Man. But when it really struck me was J. Michael Straczynski's run with Morlun and all those spider totem eaters and stuff. By the way, what I'm doing right now is I'm making little sketches of maybe spider people that I want to draw, and I'm gonna do several of these, like several tiny sketches, and see if one of them becomes what I want to draw. And these are just these sketches are to get a sense of the gesture and movement. Spider-Man is such a kinetic character, it's very dynamic, and the kind of comic book character where there's almost an established tradition of like bending the anatomy to get it to do what you want. Like I think Todd McFarlane when he and Eric Larson when they did their run on Spider-Man sometime in the 90s, um, they really did all these wacky wild poses where it's almost like the hip bone got replaced. Like I think you all remember this cover. Maybe this was like this is the pose from that cover, and I think it's a Todd McFarlane cover. Amazing Spider-Man #1, and the legs sort of over here. Like it's not even really connected anymore to the hip. And see that? He's doing this, and I'm not sure what the other leg was doing. Probably something like equally, something like that. I'm probably not even doing this like as wacky as that cover was, but you gotta give it, you know. Sometimes the best way to get something super dynamic is to like break the rules. You know, you see this in anime and manga all the time where they contort and stretch and pull um, at all the characters in order to make them more expressive. After all, it's just paper, you know. Realism is overrated. Okay, so there's my third sketch. I figured I'd do 8 of these and then see which one I like the most. Um, maybe a back pose, something like that. I really don't like this one, but we'll see it through. Get the gestures right. He looks like he's gonna tap dance or something. Not sure I like this one. Mm, nah. Blah. Okay, let's do it over. I really like this process, this early process where you're just um, iterating. You know, you're lots of tiny sketches that are okay to erase, and you don't feel super bad doing them over because they didn't take you that long. So anyway, I was saying like I came into Spider-Man with J. Michael Straczynski's run. John Romita Jr. was the artist, and it introduced Morlun and Ezekiel and sort of like a more mystical angle to Spider-Man. Uh, and I really love that run, especially the first story arc, because there's a moment there where the story actually like drives Peter to a point where he's almost sure he's gonna die, and it's so sad. It's so sad, and you're like, okay, he's gonna die. The bad guy's catching up on him. You know, what's he gonna do? What's Peter Parker gonna do if he knows he's gonna die? And you know what he does? He goes to a nearby payphone. He borrows a quarter from someone. He goes to a nearby payphone, and he calls Aunt May. Oh, so sad. He's like, I love you. And she's like, is everything okay, Peter? He's like, yeah, everything's fine. She doesn't know he's Spider-Man. So he's, she's like, you know, you sound a little tired. He's like, yeah, I just wanted to say I loved you, Aunt May, and that, you know I love you, right? You're the most important person in the world to me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, cry. So good. Anyway, obviously he overcame those challenges and figured out a way to get through it. But that story arc made me a Spider-Man fan. Um, and I think that's what's really cool about Spider-Man. Ultimately, it's about the humanity of the character, you know. I think if you've watched Spider-Verse and read any of the Miles Morales comics, no, no matter how different he is from Peter Parker, like in terms of his background and his power set, his age, um, what makes him a perfect Spider-Man is just how human he is and how real he is. You know, he's a genuine good person who wants to do the right thing. Someone who has power and is willing to use it responsibly. So yeah. Anyway, so I've read most of the Spider-Man since the Straczynski run, and my favorite would have to be Dan Slott's recently concluded run on Spider-Man, which I think he did it for over 3 years. No, I think he did it for like 6 years. I'm not sure. I think it was 6 years. Anyway, that whole thing started with like Brand New Day and, you know, um, on the heels of that horrible Mephisto, mind wipey twist thing. But his run was epic. It had like Superior Spider-Man. It had it had the New Horizons stuff. It introduced Silk. It had Spider-Verse. That was like the most epic. If you were a Spider-Man fan and you had like all the you basically had all the spider people joining you in one giant story arc against like these multi-dimensional, multiversal spider totem eaters. That was epic. And then it had Olivier Coipel art. I love his stuff. He is just the goat. I can't get enough of that stuff. Yeah, Spider Verse was like probably Hallmark, and obviously it's gone on to influence the movies and TV shows and stuff. So that was a really good thing. There's a really good Frank Quitely drawing that I recall. It was like a convention sketch, and it's a Spider-Man drawing. Probably the only Spider-Man drawing I've seen him draw. And it sort of looks like this, where it's sort of straight on. And he's just standing, walking down the street. Like that. And he's carrying groceries. He's carrying groceries, and there's like a musical note over here. Where he's like whistling a song. I always think of that, like, what a perfect Spider-Man drawing, like when I think of Superman, I always think of like someone puffy chest and like big and muscular and like overwhelming. And when I think of Batman, he's the suave like James Bond playboy rich guy. But Spider-Man's like you or me, he gets groceries. He goes to work. He has trouble paying the rent. That kind of stuff. So anyway, that quietly drawing was cool. Okay, one more study. Let's do. Gosh, I'm running out of spider ideas. Usually, it's good to like turn it upside down and draw something that way, because I feel like I might repeat myself here, but because Spider-Man's always so flippity floppity all over the place. So he can be any which way because he's wall crawling or jumping around or whatever. I kind of like this one. Let's see. Let's see what it looks like upside down. Oh boy, that arm is way too long. Let's see if we can like make it a little shorter. I'm using the selection tool and just kind of resizing that arm. Still looks really bad. I'm just gonna redraw it. Maybe do that. There we go. Much better. All right. Let's see. So now I have 8 drawings. I think. Yeah, this is really wacky. I'm not sure I like this one. No, not that one. Yeah, maybe we'll go with this one. This is like a tried and true Spider-Man image, right? I think it'd be cool to draw him. So we'll do that one. I'll let's just copy paste him to a new layer. Copy paste. And delete those. I'm gonna make it bigger. And then I'm gonna mess with the opacity of that. Make it like a little pencil sketch so I can draw over it really easily. Okay. All right. I'm gonna start going into this and see how it goes. So right now I don't super care about line quality or line weight. I'm just gonna make sure I have the structure of everything in, so I'm gonna kind of ghost in all the main human parts and make sure that my proportions are okay so that it goes, smoothly. If you don't do this stuff early on, you're liable to miss it later on, so always like do it at the roughest stage possible. And at least since I had this underdrawing, I have this gesture that I can sort of map onto. I already know it's like cool, it's got this dynamic sort of flow to it like that. So I'm just gonna keep going with this as the general guideline. I'm gonna tilt this hand up a little bit, and then move over to the other side. And this arm is really foreshortened, so I'm just gonna make it so that, the good trick with foreshortening is if you can get the major forms to overlap each other, because that's gonna give you a feeling of like things pushing back into space. So, I've got the deltoid here overlapping the tricep and a little bit of the bicep, which is overlapping the forearm and, ultimately overlapping that hand there. That should look good. And then now, probably the trickiest part of this is to get the back flowing right. So I know it's making this sort of curve here, so we're gonna try to follow that. I also know that if I were to ghost in his rib cage, it would do something like this. So when in doubt, follow the skeleton. I'm gonna do that. And here's another opportunity for overlap, because the rib cage is wider than the torso, so we're gonna get the torso sort of peeking out here in the back, and maybe a little bit of the buttocks. Gluteus maximus. I'm not sure about the legs though. I feel like this is really too wacky I don't know if I want to stretch it that much, or we'll see. We'll see if we can do. Okay, the legs going here. I'm gonna stretch the leg that way, and get the foot to do that thing, that spider thing. All right, I think we're in good shape. This is a little wacky, but I'm gonna let it be. Another thing, if you want to check yourself and you're doubting, right? When in doubt, flip the canvas. And it looks okay to me. Flipping the canvas lets you sort of, the shoulders not though. Flipping the canvas lets you sort of see past what you've drawn already. So you can, it sort of defamiliarizes yourself. defamiliarizes your eyes with the drawing so that you can kind of see it fresh and spot any mistakes you made in the last few minutes or so that you were drawing it. So there, that overlap thing I was talking about was, making me put the muscles too big. So I'm gonna make it a little smaller. And get this foot in. Make sure all the parts are working. I'm not sure if this is actually close to that Mcfarlane cover I talked about. This is sort of how I imagine it. I'm not looking at it for reference, but I think towards the end of the live stream, we should look at it for comparison. Oh man, it's probably going to be way better than my drawing. Okay, so this is looking okay. I'm gonna do what I did a while ago, and now I'm gonna make that small, lowered in opacity, and I'm gonna do a fresh drawing on top of it. And we're gonna start going into the finish of the drawing. Mostly to save on time because, I kind of wanna not take too many hours on this live stream. I hope you're drawing along. If you're watching at home, shout out, let me know in the comments where you're from. I'm really curious. Where are you drawing from? Are you in the United States? Are you in another country? Say hi to me in the chat. And if you have any questions also, just hit me up in the chat. Ashley McCurdy, what's happening? We're drawing Spider-Man, Ashley. Welcome, welcome. We're drawing Spider-Man because tomorrow is, this is the weekend of Spider-Man No Way Home, which I haven't watched. Don't spoil anything in the chat, please. I've managed to avoid spoilers so far, but I'm really, really excited to watch. I can't even I can't even express how much I want to watch it. It's so good. I'm so excited. I feel like it's gonna be great. I love Doctor Strange. I have like a pop figure here somewhere. I love Doctor Strange so much, and to have him in the Spider-Man movie is gonna be super great because it always leads to hijinks, and what's cool about this whole trilogy with Tom Holland so far, like the MCU version of Spider-Man, is it's like this Ultimate Spider-Man story arc that Brian Michael Bendis did way back, where every movie he's had a different mentor. So if you think about it, the first movie he had Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man as his mentor, and in the second movie he had Nick Fury, and Nick Fury kind of brought him on this whole like European crazy hijinks trip. And in this third movie, it's Doctor Strange. So you got science, magic, and super spies. It's pretty cool. I like that you can get all these tones in Spider-Man, and ultimately it's held together by the heart, of it all, which is this coming of age story, this high school kid who's like figuring out that he can do more than he thought he could, and is growing up into the hero we all can be, Spider-Man. What's up, Ashley? I didn't realize you were in Georgia. Wow. I've never been to Georgia. All I know of Georgia is a lot of films are filmed there. Made in Georgia. And there's like a logo, like Georgia has a logo, which is a fruit, which might, I'm not sure. Is it an orange or a peach or an apple? I'm not sure. I'm gonna go through all my Animal Crossing fruits. All right, our spider person is on his way. I don't know. Do you guys have that problem where like the Apple Pencil tip sort of screws loose while you're drawing? It happens to me sometimes. It's really weird. And then you have to like screw it back together after. It's not a big deal, but you know, sometimes it's annoying because you're making all these pencil strokes and it's not registering because the tip is unscrewed. All right, I think make this leg a little smaller, this foot a little smaller. It's a little too big. All right. Then I'm gonna keep this problematic foot. Anatomically problematic, but we're keeping it for the dynamism. Okay. So far so good. Yeah, that's looking cool. Okay, now let's ghost in some, let's make that a little less. Let's start putting the costume in. And I think by this point, I'm gonna go with the classic costume. There's so many Spider-Man costumes and it's a dizzying array. Oh, we could also do a spider sona. Do you guys know about that? The spider sona challenge? Diego Pure, what's up? Where am I gonna see the movie? I'm gonna go to AMC Lincoln Center here in New York, and I'm gonna go to the IMAX theater. They have these big seats, and there's like a lot of spacing between them, so feels like it's gonna be a good place. It's gonna be safe. The ticket was a bit expensive though; it's like $28, but it's Spider-Man. It's worth it. I'm gonna go with the classic costume. So the classic costume has the belt thing here. Um, I believe the there's a spider here on the back, like that. So we're gonna do that. Dun dun dun. There we go. Spider. And there's kind of a ribbon of webs that goes all the way down to the gloves. It sort of merges in with the gloves down here. So I'm going to do that. And try to make it so that that ribbon sort of follows the anatomy because, you know, any opportunity you have to show form, you know, you want to do that. And the best part, the eyes. I don't know how to do it. There are options, right? We can do it like Humberto Ramos style. So the spider eyes are like wild like that, just big. We could do it Steve Ditko style, which is like that kind of Spider-Man, right? Um, or I kind of like that. That's cool. We could also do it Todd McFarlane style, which is like that. It's very spiky. You actually see it in Spawn, but it's almost like Spawn. The eyes are like super. crazy. I don't want to do that. That looks like Scarlet Spider too much. We're gonna go with Steve Ditko because I don't think I've ever drawn Spider-Man like that before. So I'm gonna go with like smaller eyes, a little more expressive. Dun, dun, dun. That looks good, right? All right, and then oh, it disappeared. Did I undo too much? Let's put that there. Now I'm gonna do. Let's delete this because that's the underdrawing doesn't. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so I want to color this. So I'm gonna color it before the stream ends. Um, but before that, I want to make sure all the line work is kind of sound. So I guess my question is, where's the light coming from, right? And also, does that hand look small to you? It looks a bit small to me. Let's make it bigger. There we go. It should be bigger because it's closer to us. Not by much, just enough. There we go. All right. Let's put in some webbing. Maybe too thin. I think it goes like that. I'm gonna do that. This is the part where I'm always not sure how it should go. You know, the drawing Spider-Man's mask, the webbing is weird. You don't know if you should do it in the middle or if you should like make a triangle around. I think it looks like that. Let's put that there. You know who draws a cool Spider-Man? Neil Francis Yu. Like if you look at like Secret Invasion, that comic. I mean, it was also him and the colorist. I think there's a way he drew Spider-Man where the webbing sort of tessellated, like you could see, like the value would change depending on what part of the webbing he was drawing. Oh God, I don't think I'm explaining this well. I'm gonna try to do it in this drawing and see if I can show you guys. But it's so cool. All right. That's the other thing I find hard about Spider-Man. Like, how much webbing do you want to do? How tight do you want it? You know what I mean? How tight do you want the grid of webbing to be? Because you could go really, really fine with it, but wouldn't that be too much? Right. Yeah, the webbing makes it difficult. Spidey is color wise. If you were to just like do a color drawing of Spidey, super easy. But drawing the webbing, and the webbing is like a perfect example of form lines. And those are lines that follow the form. Uh, so like on this pencil, for example, it's curved, or here on this finger over here, it's actually a cylinder. So you want the webbing to follow the contours of that cylinder, which is why I'm making these lines here that sort of wind around like that. But when the finger changes direction and goes down, right, because it's the knuckles going in, the cylinder's direction changes. So now I'm making lines that are more like that to indicate the change in direction. And I keep over erasing. I'm sorry. I should set my eraser brush to like smaller. All right, so that's that. And I'm not gonna draw webbing on the bottom of his foot. I'm just gonna draw webbing like for this stuff. What really helps with me is like doing the vertical lines first, because once you figure out the vertical lines, you can kind of like, you know, use that as the pattern for the rest. So I do that first, and then web my way through. Ta-nan, ta-nan. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. I'm so excited for tomorrow's movie. I swear. Like, so one of the things I'm like, I got super hyped by the trailer because all the spider villains are like the Sinister Six almost. I think I saw Lizard in the trailer. I mean, everyone knows Doctor Octopus is there, right? And and obviously, you know, we heard the Green Goblin laugh. So oh my God, I hope they have everyone. I hope we see Shocker or the Rhino, or even like everyone in the movies, like Sandman would be great. Venom would be great. You guys watch the Tom Hardy movie to this year? Uh, I didn't watch it because um, I don't think it was worth going to theaters for. I didn't like the first movie too much, but I did hear about that ending, and you know, it implies. I'm not gonna get into specifics so no one gets spoiled, but it implies some sort of tie-in to the MCU. At least I hope. So if so, maybe we get to see Tom Hardy in this movie. Maybe because Spider-Man with Venom is awesome. Okay, I'm gonna try to get this webbing in here. I'm actually liking how loose some of these lines look, you know. There's a lot of energy to it. And I think when you're drawing Spider-Man, you want to have a lot of energy if you can. Yeah, there's a way to draw things where they're like very stately and Apollonian. You know, they're balanced, they're symmetrical, they're very still. And you don't want those qualities with Spider-Man. You want it to be as dynamic and wild and bouncy as you can. Because that's the kind of guy Peter Parker is. A bouncy guy. He makes jokes. I'm also not sure if... I'm not sure if I should be... Maybe I'm going to redraw that. Let's redo that a little bit. There we go. A little better. Oh, what's that? Oh, I drew that a while ago. Let's fix that. How are we doing on time? It's 8:39. Okay, not bad. Let's keep going. And I'm gonna make sure this is done before the live stream ends. I don't know. I haven't I haven't completed a complete drawing in. Oh wait, I did. My first live stream. I kind of did, but I haven't like completed a complete drawing to my satisfaction in a live stream. Like I'm always not happy with the like it could be better. I mean, it could always be better. I guess maybe I'm just being too critical, but like I want this to be, you know. I think I'm just adjusting to drawing while hooked up to a webcam and like hooked up to the computer and stuff. Um, it takes some getting used to. I'm hoping this is a kick-ass drawing by the end of it. Fingers crossed. right. Okay. We're almost ready. So now my question is, now that we have the overall figure ghosted in, right? Should I put spot? I should. Yeah, I'm gonna do spot blacks. Spot blacks to sort of ground it because we're doing sort of Ditko style. So I think the light's coming from this direction. So I'm gonna try to mimic that with the spot blacks. I'm gonna do this cheaty thing where I just sort of maneuver the spot blacks so that it shows as much form as possible. And so you'll see me sort of wrapping it around various forms here. There we go. There we go. That feels good. That feels good, I think. I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna do this. We can have the most spot blacks down here because it's sort of, you know, in shadow. And then less as we move forward into the light. Let me look at the chat for a second. His webbing is looking good. Yeah, right? It's looking good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna erase a little here just so his arm pops forward. And we're gonna do a little more there. And I'm gonna flip it so that I can see if it's working. I think it's working mostly. Too thick. Let's lower that. Get a smaller line weight there. And even with this shadow, I'm sort of ghosting in. Notice I'm following the form still, just to give you the underside of the foot. It feels right. It feels good. I want to do a little bit of a gradient here, like so that you can see it's sort of fading out from shadow. So I'm gonna do some hatching, sort of like that. And do a bit more hatching here. Now that I did it in one part, I feel like I have to do it in various other parts so that it's consistent. You want your, I think Yannick Paquette said that, you want your line language to be consistent across the drawing. So regardless of, you know, what you're drawing. And you can change up your style, like, you know, have stuff that's crosshatchy or just clear line or stipple, you know, dot dot dots. But whatever you do, try to keep it consistent within the world of the drawing you're making. Or if you're making a comic, you know, try not to change too much of the line language without a good reason. I mean, if they're having a drug trip or like a dream sequence or like a crazy flashback, you know, you can change the style here and there, but You do that too much and you can really break the reader out of the story. So try to keep it loose. And notice I'm keeping these sort of like white areas here. It's because I want a bit of rim light. I might I might be over rendering this. I'm gonna try to not overdo it on the hatching. So let's just put a little bit here, a little bit there. Juan's Art, hey, what's up? Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for hanging out and come draw with me. Break out your sketchbook or your iPad or whatever you're using to make art and let's draw some Spider-Man. Time check, it's 8:47. Wow, time really goes by fast when you're drawing. Like, that's crazy. But I'm having fun. So if you guys are still having fun, hopefully, um, hopefully you're drawing and making a kick-ass Spider-Man. Oh my God, if you draw along with me during this live stream, please message me or hit me up on Instagram. Like let me know, like tag me in your drawing or something. I want to see what you guys drew. uh, I'm always excited to see what other people are drawing. Dylan Boston getting my M1 iPad for Christmas. Can't wait. Oh my God, congratulations, dude. How long is it? We only have a few more days. You've got like a week to go, dude. This is an M1 iPad, what I'm using right now. I am loving it, and just to oh my God. Okay, so wait. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna take a break from Spider-Man for a quick second just to show off. Um, so this is uh, I did a video on like the layer levels, but so check that out on my channel. But I've been doing these drawings, these X-Men drawings, right? Which are a certain specific size, and half of these I did before I switched over to the new iPad, and I think you could only get like 19 layers on this. Yeah, 19, right? Um, I just did another one, another drawing here, this one, and it's not done, so this is not what the final's gonna look like. Um, but look at this. Holy crap! I have like 40 layers. No, I have more than 40 layers. It's ridiculous. It's so great, and it's so great because I didn't even notice. Because I'm doing a lot of like digital effects on this and a lot of layering, a lot of clipping masks, and just messing around with it a lot. And I wasn't thinking anymore about the layer limit. Like previous to this iPad, I was worrying about if I was gonna hit 19 layers. Okay, like I can't do too many like digital effects. I can't do too many brush things. But now, like, I didn't have to think about it. And that's the best feeling. I love when you don't have to think about it and the tool just becomes like an expression of your imagination. Oh no. Okay, wait. There we go. So yeah, I'm excited for you, Dylan. I hope you enjoy that iPad. Never tried digital art before, dude. You should. I mean, this is the time for it. Like you have the best resource for learning digital art ever, and that is YouTube. You have the internet. Like people are making tutorials left and right, so you could just like follow all the cool channels, that are doing digital art. Um, Guys, if you have recommendations for channels to watch, like put them in the comments. I wanna hear what other channels do you guys watch? What do you enjoy? I love I mean I mentioned Daniel Warren Johnson. That's a really good channel. He's a Marvel artist, so uh, and a DC artist, and honestly, he's at his best when he's doing neither. When he's doing his own books, he's like doing the best books ever. But Daniel Warren Johnson's amazing, and he live streams every Friday. He's probably live streaming right now. I'm gonna have to watch it like after this. Um, but it's really nice to watch his live streams. It's really nice to watch it because I just draw. I always draw when he's drawing, because artists are such. I feel like art is such a lonely profession. It's just you usually and the paper. So doing things where you're kind of partaking in a bit of community while you're getting your artwork done, I think that's aces. It's like one of the best things you can do. So anyway, I like Daniel Warren Johnson, so follow him if you aren't following him already. Uh, I love Cynics. He's probably one of the OG um, uh, big YouTube art channels like Saikura Yasin. Saikura Yasin, am I saying that right? Such a good art channel. Like formative. I lived in the Philippines back then. I was following those channels, and I learned so much just from those videos, and I would watch them over and over. So yeah. Anyway, Dylan, watch YouTube. Watch YouTube um, art channels. Follow the right people, and that's how you're gonna learn. Do you use a paper-like screen protector? I do not. Um, and I do not have strong feelings about it one way or the other, because I want to say I have some friends who have iPads and they use screen protectors and they love it. They swear by it. I myself am pretty happy with it like this. I don't feel overwhelmed by the slickness of the screen. I mean, I got used to it really quickly, so it's not something that bothers me. But if it bothers you, like try it. My only concern with the screen protector is like choose a good one because I feel like some of them have a potential to change the image you're seeing. Like there's an extra, because there's an extra film and a layer blocking it, so your colors might change. Just be aware. Uh, okay, so that's good. I'm gonna put some color under this. I have all these beautiful palettes. I'm gonna go with this one, Cabernet Dream. That's a good one. And get ourselves a good red. And notice I'm using the same brush for the whole drawing. I'm gonna get to the other brushes once we get to like, um, once we're done with the flats, which is what I'm doing right now. Flats is um, it's a stage in comics coloring where you are just laying down big blocks of color, and it's local color, so you know, it's what color that element would be in neutral lighting. In this case, we all know his webbing stuff is just red, so I'm just gonna use that red. And lighting and shadow and all that stuff, rendering later on can change how it's gonna look, but having a good flats base makes everything else easier later on. So it's also good to do it as it's just a good habit to get into in terms of making illustrations, because you always want to be thinking big to small as much as possible. Uh, you don't want to over focus on small details, because if you lose sight of the larger drawing, you end up with like a really wonky and structurally unsound image. So that applies to color flats, to coloring as well. Like you can do a lot of tiny little renderings, but if your overall colors don't feel good, it's not gonna sing. And notice I didn't draw any webbing. I have a plan for that webbing. I'm gonna draw his webs in a little bit at the end of this whole thing. It's gonna be the cherry on top of this Spider-Man drawing. Just get the colors in. That's feeling good. All right, and then I'm gonna get a good blue in. I like that blue. We'll use that. Or actually, yeah. I'm gonna choose a mid-tone blue. Actually, maybe I should go with a lighter blue. I think I'm gonna go with a lighter blue because there's already so much black that I put into the blue part with all the spot blacks. So I'm gonna counterbalance it with this light blue. Whoops, there's a part I have to do. All right. Now I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna grab a little red here for his belt. And our Spider-Man's almost done. I need a white, and it's not in this palette, so I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna make it sort of an off-white. A little brighter. That's better. Boom. There we go. There's our Spider-Man. Let's check the chat for a sec. Okay. All right, we're in a good place. I'm gonna start doing some renders. Actually, let's do this. Let's merge these layers. I'm gonna do a clipping mask. And actually, I should probably do a background color first, so this would look decent. Let's pick something cool like that. Nope. What do you think? Maybe this. Let's do that. All right, let's do that. Now I'm gonna do another layer, and we're gonna go with, oh my god, is it 9 already? Oh boy. I'm gonna keep going if you guys are cool. What's your brush? Ruth Vic Kiran. So my brush is Kyle's ink box, too smooth to be forgotten. You can take a screenshot of this if you want. It's a Photoshop brush, but Procreate actually Procreate accepts ABR files, which is Photoshop's native brush file, so you can use that with this. Give me a sec. I realize I have to make some corrections to the drawing before I go into the rest of the colors. I'm gonna put spot blacks here, and put a little there, like that. All right. How do you come up with the color palettes? Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys a really cool trick, right? Let's see. Um, so first I go online. This is gonna be a big cheat. So like, um, but you guys should totally do this stuff. Let's look at let's just type concept art, right? And I'm gonna search for some concept art. Usually, concept artists are like they're usually on the money with colors. They're usually thinking about it like holistically. So you get some really beautiful color palettes there. I'm gonna look for something I really like this. This is a really beautiful. Oh, that's also pretty. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so this is a Mandalorian concept art piece. Maybe that's not the best one. Here. This one is a concept art piece that I like, and I'm gonna add it to my photos. I really like the colors. It's this blue-green. It's cool, and it's got a good dynamic range. So there's like a lot of bright spots and dark spots. So you get a good range of colors there. It's also very harmonious, so that's cool. And now I've saved that to my photos. I'm going to go back into Procreate, and I'm going to press this plus here. And you see that it says create new palette, and it says new from camera, new from file, new from photos. And what I'm going to do is choose a photo, and here it is on the upper left. I'm going to tap that and see what just happened. This whole thing, these colors are all sampled from that one image. So I really suggest, save the color, the images you like, things that you find beautiful, save them and put them into Procreate as a color palette. The other thing is you could also do it manually, which is, pick and choose. And some people like, I know Mike Del Mundo, who's like this Marvel cover artist. I've watched him live stream for 3W3M. That's a really cool comic thing. And he was talking about how he never has color palettes. He just sort of like goes by feel. That's really cool. I guess I could do that. I just, I like having color palettes right now, but imagine just going here on the color wheel and just going through all the options and swimming around like that for me is like intoxicating with power. Like, I don't know, my colors might get just too wild. Anyway, segue over. Back to the drawing. Okay, let's use this, and I'm gonna go for, I need to do some shadow stuff, so I'm actually gonna go with the black. With shadow stuff, you want to make sure you're using, um, a darker color, obviously, in order to make it, properly shadowy. But what I like to do is choose something that's very dark and then adjust the opacity so that it's just dark enough to make it feel like the way I want. So I've adjusted the opacity of this layer to 40%, right? So that's 40% black. And I'm just going to town with the colors now. And here's the trick that I saw Leno you do. Like, or maybe it was his colors. I don't know who did it. It was someone. uh, I feel like it was Neil. Uh, but he did this thing where the light would tessellate with the spider webs. So, wherever there'd be a shadow break, it would land on one of these Terminator lines on the webs, which I thought was super awesome. And so if, clearly here is where the shadow would be, right? Like I would normally draw here. I would normally draw here to like get it to, conform to the form. But the way Neil Yu did it is he sort of just let it stop at where the spider lines broke. So That's what I'm gonna do. And see how that looks. And if I don't like it, I'm gonna change it because because we're artists and we can do what we want, right? So I'm just gonna let that do that. There, here, there. And it looks a little weird. It looks a little like a low poly drawing, but I think it's a cool effect. I don't know. Try it. See if you like it. All right. Colors are working. And I know I'm going over an hour, and I'm sorry. If if you have to go, please feel free. I don't know. I don't know. How do you guys feel about like live streams? How long they should be? I feel like an hour is already too long for some people. But I feel like, I mean, I want to get a good drawing done also during that period. So I'm a little torn. Like I could stop now, but the drawing's not done, and I want to finish the drawing. There we go. Tessellation station. I also hope you guys are drawing along, and I'm really curious as to what you're drawing. So again, I've said this already, but do tag me or message me or you know, show me what you've drawn. I would love to see it. Part of the joy of being in an art school over the last 5 years, I just finished a course, a certificate in painting, um, in the middle of the pandemic, which was kind of crazy. But part of the joy of that was just being around other artists all the time and seeing what they were doing, getting inspired. I always love seeing what other people do. All right, that's looking good. And now for some highlights, which is sort of the cherry on top. But I'm going to do a clipping mask so it stays within the lines. And I'm going to use that yellow, which is currently in the background, as my highlight thing. And I'm going to lower the opacity again, maybe 40% there. And I'm going to make it, again, follow the tessellations, because I think that's a really cool effect. Maybe not there, so take that out. Yeah, that's looking really cool. I am feeling this. I am grooving. Feels like a proper Peter Parker out on a normal day, saving lives, helping people in New York City. It's really funny too because I've lived in the Philippines like most of my life, um, and I only moved to New York like in my mid 20s, and so my entire idea of New York was shaped by Spider-Man and X-Men comics, which is really funny because there's so much danger in the comics. They're like muggers and prostitutes and like scary stuff happening all the time. Obviously, it's not New York. I also say like when I first came to New York, I half expected to see like the Avengers Tower and the Baxter Building, the Daily Bugle, all these like comic book landmarks, which obviously don't exist in real life, but in my head they're part of New York. All right, let's do this. And actually, I think I can go into the blue a bit. No, maybe I won't. I don't want to do that. I think I'm trying to treat the blue like it's a different type of material. So I'm gonna do different highlights and shadows on it. Like I'm gonna go for something softer because I think the blue is like, based on what I've already done so far, it looks like it's more reflective, whereas the spider suit looks like it's more absorbent of light. Okay, that looks decent, right? See what I mean? Doesn't it look weird? That sort of tessellation effect. Um, I like it. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, now let's put some darks in the blue, and I'm gonna use my smudge brush, and I'm using a watercolor smudge brush, right? And I'm making these soft transitions from super dark into the drawing. And actually, I'm going to lower the opacity a bit also of this. All right, Panda Gwyn. Panda Gwyn. Are you a panda penguin? Panda Gwyn is odd. Awesome, that's a great trick. I don't think going over an hour is that bad. A lot of times, not everyone comes in at the beginning of the stream, so it might not seem like a long time for some people. Oh, okay, okay, fine. Then I will, I'll just keep this on. I'm not gonna abuse it, but I'm gonna try not to worry too much about going over an hour. I just want to have a good drawing, by the end of it, and hope everyone gets enough good time to draw as well. It's so funny, you think an hour is a lot, but when you really get into the flow of drawing, it whizzes by. Like crazy how. I think the term for that is time blindness. You ever have that where you start working and then you blink your eyes and then you're done with your work and 2 hours have passed or something like that. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but like that, I feel like that's happened to me to some degree already in the past. Maybe you guys have experienced it. I think it's a good sign too. If you're an artist, it means you're really into the work. It means you're finding a lot of joy and flow in making your artwork, which is all anyone can ask for, really. All right, here we go. Can you hear the Apple Pencil? Because I can hear it like clacking here, but I don't know if the microphone is picking it up. Hey Arnaud, welcome, welcome. Grab a sketchbook, join us in drawing. The theme for today is Spider-Man. And obviously I am slowly and surely making my way through this drawing. I've also been working on my next video, which I'm really excited about. It's hoping to release it this Sunday, if I can like edit it in time. But it's a video about doing a hybrid workflow between Procreate and Clip Studio and like traditionally inked, like here in the drawing desk. Here's like a page. So what I do is I start the gesture sketches in Procreate, I print it out, I ink it traditionally, scan it back in, put it in Clip Studio to isolate the line work, do textures and funky stuff on it, and then port that file back into Procreate for colors and other stuff. Anyway, I'm working on it right now. The video is going to be out soon. Uh, and I'm really excited. I know I haven't posted in a while, so you know, uh, I'm excited to put that out. All right, I think Spider-Man's looking good, more or less. Let's put some. I'm tempted to do more funky stuff with this, but let's not overdo it. Let me look at the chat for a sec while I do this. No, let me put some highlights in first, okay? I'm gonna put this highlight in like that. And this highlight is just blue. It's gonna go on the blue part, and it's meant to sort of add a third layer of depth to the drawing. And because I am on top of the line work layer, I can actually make it scoot over the pencils, which is kind of cool. Let's put a little here and there. Just complete the thought before I check the chat again. Okay, I'm gonna check the chat. From Arnaud, I really like to watch your streams, even if it's long. Most of the time I watch asynchronously, because of the different time zone. Yes, I can hear the pencil a little. It's fine for me. Okay, cool. I'm glad you like it. I'm new to this. This is my third stream, but I want to do this regularly. So yeah, Gerald Nayoan, what's up, Gerald? Drawing and talking adds time to your drawing. I'm a social artist. I draw better in libraries or coffee shops, so thank you for doing this. Yeah, drawing and talking does. See, so when I was in art school, like the thing that impressed me the most was watching my instructors paint or draw while giving the whole lesson. I'm like, wow, how can you do that? So much of your brain power is already like caught up in the art making process, and then you add blah blah on top of it. That's like a whole different skill. But hopefully I get better as I keep live streaming. But yeah, I love. I think one of my favorite drawing situations is a coffee shop. I love having a warm cup of coffee and maybe a little bit of like a croissant or something sweet, like on a plate nearby, and I'm drawing. Like I could spend an hour doing that, maybe 2 hours. The length of this live stream. I don't know if I should add a third layer of. That might be overkill. Should I? Nah, I won't. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, we're gonna do the some more fun stuff to finish this drawing off because it feels a little bit floaty. So I'm gonna add. What I'm gonna do is cheat. I'm gonna look for. New York City. There we go. I'm gonna look for a New York skyline of some sort, and then I'm gonna put it in the background. That way, it feels a little more finished. Problem with Google is it doesn't always give you the image you want. It's better to, take the pictures yourself. But I'm gonna use this one maybe. I think that's gonna be fine. I'm gonna use this. Add the photos. I'm gonna add it in the background. Add insert a photo. Let's put that there. And let's reposition this photo so it looks cool. Totally cheating. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have time to draw the backgrounds. I'll just throw it in here. like this. This photo is really beautiful. I hope I'm not like violating a copyright thing. I'm not gonna sell this. This is not for profit um, thing. You know, just put that there. And actually, maybe there's too much detail going on, so I'm gonna blur it a little bit. What I'm gonna do is do a motion blur, and actually no. Yeah, I'm gonna do a motion blur. Oh, that's horrible. Maybe not. I'm gonna do some kind of blur. Perspective blur, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna put the perspective, I'm gonna make it positional. See here, this is gonna be the central point from which the perspective will blur, and I'm gonna make it the vanishing point of this image. So that, and then sort of do that. And it looks like he's moving through New York City. I'm also gonna change the image a bit so it's not so distracting. Let's do this like that. Boom. That looks cool, right? Super cheated on the background. I'm so sorry. And we're gonna do the webs in a little bit, but let me look at the chat. Pandiguin, have you made a drawing in that order before? It's super involved. How do you come up with it? I watched the start of the stream again. I did sketches at the start, but obviously I didn't think about the background as I made this. This photo is just what I found and I put in. So I had a general idea of what the background would look like, but you know, this is what I found. So it's kind of like improv. You just work with what you can get. All right, now the webs. We're gonna do the webs to finish it off. So, most important thing is to have a web that is coming from. Whoops, what's going on? Oh, there. Oh, I hate it when it does that. There we go. Have a web that is coming from where he's swinging to. So I would say from here to here, right? And I'm using the quicklines ability of Procreate to sort of create that web so that it's straight. And this is going to be the straightest web of everything. I'm also using a white because that's what's going to pop. That should look good. Okay. Oh my god, I drew it on the background layer. I'm so stupid. Okay, it's fine. That's what we call destructive drawing, but it's okay. And now I'm gonna do webs here, and this is the fun part. This is the part where it's like Picasso light drawing, you know what I mean? You're just going with feel. You're like, how would the web move if I were you know, with the energy of everything. So I'm just gonna throw it all over the place. I like the web coming down here and working here. Whoops. Here, working there, and then going into his hand, and he's holding it too here. That looks super cool. I promise you guys, I can draw backgrounds. Like, look at this. This is all buildings. Ah, wait, let me show you. See this? This is like a ton of buildings and stuff. I drew in perspective, so I can draw backgrounds. It would take too long on this stream, so I'm just putting a photo background in. I feel super insecure about that. One of the things I want to do actually is uh, one of the things I want to do is get better at SketchUp and like Blender and stuff. I want to make like 3D models of cities and stuff that I can just sort of put into my drawing. That would be cool, especially since so many of these like heroes and whatever are like set in urban landscapes. To be able to construct a whole cityscape really quickly, I think that's great. I think it'd be super useful. It would save a lot of time. And I know it's cheating, but part of me is thinking, when you're working on comics, you gotta be a person who can handle deadlines, and sometimes the easiest way is the best way. You know what I mean? So, ooh, this web looks really spiky. I'm gonna put, okay, there's some webs here. I'm gonna put some webbing stuff also here in the back. He's a little spider monkey. No, it's a monkey tail. Maybe I'll just do it here. There we go. Much better. Let's look at the chat. Have you made a drawing in that order before? Super involved. How do you come up with it? Oh, no. So I haven't made a drawing in that order before, and so that's why I'm doing the next video. Just to test it. So I did a whole experiment where I'm trying a hybrid workflow, and that's what the next video is going to be about. So yeah, watch out for that. Yeah, going back and forth between the traditional and digital over and over in one drawing. I feel like the more common workflow these days is either all digital or all traditional, and then you pass it off to a colorist who will do the digital part. Um, I might be wrong, but I feel like that's what's going on. And there are artists who just jump back and forth. Again, I mentioned Del Mundo. He has a lot of sketchbook stuff, but he also works on a big Cintiq and draws in Photoshop all the time. So it really depends. All right. I think we're almost done with this. I think this is done. I think we can call this done, sorta. What time is it? 9:30. Okay, it's been an hour and 30 minutes. So I don't want to take too much more of your time, if I can, or maybe I'll take a little more time the next stream. Comment from Ruth Lynn Kiran. Have you done any anime style? Yes. I one of my favorite artists is Joe Madureira, and I read a lot of manga, and I have definitely experimented with doing something that's more of an anime style, but um, my style has a little bit of anime in it, right? I think you can kind of see it. It doesn't have the big eyes, but I think you can see it in the hands, like here, in the way I draw certain things. There's a little bit of a bit of it there. Um, but yeah. I'm going to show you the Mcfarlane cover. Let's compare and contrast, right? So let's look at that cover that the gesture sketch of this drawing I just made is based on. There we go. So this is what I was thinking of. The Amazing Spider-Man. This is the cover I was thinking of. And I guess I got the pose sort of right. Did I get it right? No, it's a very different pose. But, that's what I was thinking of. Yes, it's good, it's not. So, I didn't look at the reference, so it's more original, right? All right, I think this is just about done. I hope you guys had a good time in today's stream. I hope you guys drew something awesome. Like I said, make sure to make sure to tag me or message me. Instagram, my links are in the description and everything. Um, I'd love to see what art you're doing. And yeah, watch out for my next videos. Thank you so much. Have a great Friday. And if you are planning to watch Spider-Man No Way Home, I hope you enjoy. I also hope I enjoy. I'm so excited. Oh my God. You know, fingers crossed it's super good, guys. Anyway, I'll see you in